.2 Maths. The trick that Mum's friend Roxy played on us is this. She secretly bought pyjamas and toothbrushes when Mum and I were looking round the market. Then she invited us to stay overnight. Cool, eh? And the trick I've been playing on you, Mr. Clark, is that Roxy is actually my step-grandmother. On Sunday we were going to go out, but Roxy wasn't feeling all that well, so we stayed in, and she taught me to play chess. We also played a game called Dobble, and lastly we played darts. As Roxy said, darts teaches you maths better than a teacher can. Sorry, Mr. Clark. We got another postcard from Ari today. He's going back to America. It felt good telling Mr. Clark that Roxy was my step-grandmother. It was a bit of a lie saying I'd been tricking him. Berry would have just told the truth in the first place, but I find that quite hard. I felt sad at first that Roxy wasn't feeling well enough to go out. She said that some days she didn't have as much energy as others. Mum said it was amazing that she had any energy at all at 91. I couldn't tell if that was Mum being impressed or being sulky. She was mainly sulky all weekend. As it turned out, we had a really good day. I didn't really get chess, but I loved the game called Dobble. The cards are round and are covered with little pictures of all sorts of things in all different sizes. You have to turn your cards over really quickly and spot the one thing on your card that's the same as something on the last card that was put down. Roxy beat me every time. Mum came last every time. Roxy said she only won because she'd been trained to have good powers of observation. I'm going to train myself to have good powers of observation. Then she said we ought to play darts so I could get better at maths. We played 4 games. Mum won 2 of them, but it didn't make her any less sulky. I won 1 and Roxy won 1. Roxy said she was no good at darts really, and it was a fluke. She made me work out the scores every single time anyone had a turn. I'm really fast at adding up and taking away in my head now. When we were driving home, Mum said it was a mean trick that Roxy played on us, buying us jammers and stuff so it would be impossible for us to turn down the invitation to stay over. I said she was just being nice because she knew I wanted to stay. Then I asked if we could go back next weekend and Mum said, no, definitely not. I want to spend some time with Rob. So then I was the sulky one. Mum asked me why I didn't like Rob and I said I didn't want him getting into our family, and Mum was quiet for ages and then said she didn't want Roxy getting into our family either. I said, yes, but Roxy already is in our family. And Mum said, no, she's not. She's just the person who married my father. We had a really long silence after that before Mum said, OK, let's make a deal. You can visit Roxy on your own next Saturday. I'll put you on the train and she can meet you at the other end. But in return, you have to do something for me. What? I asked. You have to come out for a nice meal with me and Rob so you can get to know each other, she said. I shrugged and said, yeah, OK. And Mum said, I've not finished. You also have to join in the conversation and speak a bit more this time. I shrugged again and said, OK, and made a plan to say more than 14 words, but fewer than 20. Then I asked Mum if I could have violin lessons, and her eyes went really wide like I'd asked if I could have bullfighting lessons. And she said, where did that idea spring from? And I said, I liked the violin music that she kept listening to. And she looked sad again and said, Nimrod. I said I didn't know what it was, but it was by someone called Elgar. And Mum nodded and said, yes, it's Nimrod from the Enigma variations. And I let out a big gasp. Enigma? Now I definitely wanted to learn. So can I, Mum? I asked, and she said, ask me again when we get home. I need to work out if I can afford it.